There's a silence that's more powerful than any threat, a stillness that is more unnerving than any outburst. It's the silence of the one who sees, the one who has stopped participating in the noise and has started listening to the truth humming beneath it. Have you ever felt it? That moment in a conversation where you're not listening to the words anymore, but to the spaces between them. You're watching the flicker in their eyes when they say one thing, but their soul screams another. You see the mask, the carefully constructed persona, and for a split second, you see the exhausted, frantic puppeteer behind it. And in that exact moment, they feel it too. They feel your gaze not on their face, but on their truth. They don't know how you know, they just know that you do. This is not a superpower reserved for a chosen few. This is a dormant sense within you, waiting to be awakened. This is the quiet observer's power. The power to see their true face and the unnerving certainty that comes when they know it. Today, we are not talking about cheap psychological tricks or learning to read body language like a textbook. We are going deeper. We are talking about forging your perception into a tool so sharp it can separate truth from performance. We are exploring the unnerving and transformative power you gain when you become the quiet one in the room who sees everything. This isn't about becoming a mind reader. It's about becoming a truth sensor. You will learn not just to spot the hidden enemy or the fake friend, but to understand the profound psychological shift that happens when they become aware of your awareness. You will understand why your quiet knowing is more powerful than any loud confrontation. This is a journey into the shadow self, both theirs and your own. It's about reclaiming your energy, protecting your peace, and moving through the world not with paranoia, but with an unshakable, silent confidence. This is the lesson of the quiet observer's power. You see their true face, they know it. Let's begin by understanding the first, most crucial stage of this transformation. Point 1. The forging of the inner silence. Before you can accurately perceive the world outside, you must first quiet the hurricane within. Most people navigate life in a state of perpetual inner noise. Their minds are a chaotic storm of insecurities, past traumas, future anxieties, and the endless chatter of their own ego. They can't see the truth in others because they can't even hear the truth in themselves. Their perception isn't a clear lens, it's a mirror shattered into 1,000 pieces, each piece reflecting back their own fears and biases. To become a quiet observer, you must first become a master of your own internal state. Your mind must become a still, deep lake, not a raging ocean. Only on a placid surface can you notice the subtlest of ripples, the tremors of deceit, the vibrations of insincerity, the faint waves of genuine affection. Think of it like this. Imagine a master watchmaker, a man named Elias, who spends his days in a soundproofed workshop. His life's work is to assemble a timepiece of impossible complexity. To do so, he must be able to hear the faintest click of a gear seating into place, the whisper of a spring settling. If there were a highway outside his window or a shouting match in the next room, he would fail. The crucial minute signals would be lost in the cacophony. He would mistake a sign of imminent failure for the normal sounds of operation. Your intuition, your ability to perceive the truth, is that intricate timepiece. The noise of your own untamed mind, the worry about what they think of you, the desperate need for their approval, the anger from a past betrayal is the highway outside the window. It deafens you to the subtle clicks and whispers of human interaction. The fake friend's compliment sounds genuine because your own need for validation drowns out the hollow ring of their voice. The manipulator's charm works because your own anxiety to be liked makes you ignore the predatory glint in their eyes. Forging the inner silence is the most brutally honest work you will ever do. It requires you to sit with yourself and let the storm rage until it tires itself out. It means acknowledging your own self-sabotage, your own desire to believe the beautiful lie over the ugly truth because it's easier. Carl Jung called this journey individuation. the process of becoming an individual, whole and undivided. It begins with confronting your own shadow, the parts of you that you have suppressed. Why do you crave approval so much? Why are you afraid of being disliked? Answering these questions is the first step to cleaning your perceptual lens. When you no longer need their love, you can see clearly whether it's real or not. When you no longer fear their hate, you can look it directly in the face without flinching. This inner silence gives you a baseline. It becomes your control variable. You know what your own peace feels like, so when someone enters your space and that peace is disturbed, you know the disturbance is coming from them. You can feel their chaotic energy, their manipulative intent, their desperate neediness, because it contrasts so sharply with your own calibrated stillness. They walk into your sphere of influence, and their energetic static becomes immediately apparent. Here are the actionable steps to begin forging this silence. The daily stillness practice. This is non-negotiable. For at least 15 minutes a day, you will sit in a quiet space with no distractions. No phone, no music, no books. You can close your eyes. Your goal is not to empty your mind. That's a fool's errand. Your goal is to simply observe the thoughts that arise without judgment. Watch them float by like clouds. The goal is to detangle yourself from the thoughts, to realize you are the watcher, not the storm. This practice builds the muscle of non-reactive observation. The brutally honest journal. Get a notebook. Every night, write down one interaction from the day that felt off. Don't analyze the other person yet. Analyze yourself. Ask, what did I feel in that moment? Anxiety, neediness, anger. What was I afraid of? Was I hoping for a certain outcome? This isn't about blaming yourself. It's about identifying the noise your own emotions are creating. This is a form of shadow work, and it's essential. The sensory grounding. Throughout the day, practice pulling yourself out of the mental chatter and into the physical world. For 60 seconds, just focus on one sense: the feeling of your feet on the floor, the sound of the air conditioning, the smell of coffee. This anchors you in the present moment, the only place where true perception exists. When you are fully present, you are a formidable observer. Master this inner silence, and you have built the foundation. You have tuned the instrument. Now you are ready to listen to the language the rest of the world is deaf to. Point 2. The language beyond words, decoding the incongruence. Once your inner world is still, you begin to notice the jarring discordance in the outer world. The quiet observer's power doesn't come from spotting one single tell, like in a spy movie. It comes from recognizing a pattern of incongruence, the gap between the words someone speaks, the emotions they project, and the subtle, involuntary language their body and energy screams. This incongruence is a crack in their persona, a glimpse of the real machinery working underneath. The toxic person, the hidden enemy, the frenemy, they are masters of the spoken word. They have to be. Their survival depends on their performance, but they cannot control everything. The truth leaks out. Consider the story of a graphic designer named Claire. She worked in a small, competitive agency. Her closest colleague, a man named Ben, was the epitome of a supportive friend. He'd bring her coffee, praise her work in meetings, and often say, "Claire, you're the most talented person here. I'm your biggest fan." On the surface, it was perfect, but Claire, having cultivated a deep sense of inner stillness after burning out from the industry's stress, started to notice the leaks. She noticed that when a major project came up that they could both compete for, Ben's compliments would become more frequent, almost syrupy. Yet, as he spoke the words, "You'd be perfect for this," she noticed his hand would clench into a fist under the table just for a second. A microaggression. Another time, after Claire won a small award, Ben gave her a hug, patting her on the back with a wide smile. But as he pulled away, Claire saw it, a flash of something cold and hard in his eyes, a look of pure envy that lasted less than a heartbeat before the friendly mask snapped back into place. It was like seeing a glitch in a computer simulation. The most telling sign was what Claire called the sabotage of omission. When she was struggling with a piece of software, Ben, an expert in it, would say, "Oh, you'll figure it out, you're a genius," and walk away offering no help. But when a junior designer asked him the same question, he'd spend an hour patiently walking them through it. His words said, "I believe in you," but his actions screamed, "I will not lift a finger to help you rise above me." This is the language of the shadow. It's not in the grand gestures, it's in the micro-expressions, the emotional non-sequiturs, and the glaring inconsistencies between words and deeds. The average person, lost in their own noise, misses this. They hear the compliment and feel validated. They see the smile and feel accepted. The quiet observer hears the compliment but feels the tightening in the room. They see the smile but notice that it doesn't touch the eyes, that the muscles around the mouth are the only ones engaged. Here are the specific channels of incongruence you must learn to decode. The eyes versus the mouth. This is the classic. A smile that is only a mechanical upturn of the lips while the eyes remain cold, blank, or flicker with contempt is a screaming red flag. The eyes are the windows to the soul, not because of some poetic nonsense, but because the muscles around the eyes are incredibly difficult to control consciously during a fake emotion. Look for the crinkle, the warmth. When it's absent during a moment of supposed joy or support, you are looking at a mask. Words versus energy. Someone can say, "I'm so happy for you," but their energy plummets. The very atmosphere around them feels heavier, denser. You, with your calibrated inner silence, will feel this as a palpable shift. It's like a sudden drop in temperature. Trust that feeling over their words. Your nervous system is picking up on thousands of nonverbal cues and delivering a summary to you. Danger, insincerity. Public praise versus private action. This is Ben's technique. The hidden enemy will often praise you loudest when there's an audience. It makes them look magnanimous and supportive. It's a performance for the gallery. But in private, where it actually counts, their support vanishes. They won't share the crucial piece of information, they won't make the introduction, they won't defend you when you're not in the room. Their support is a hollow public relations campaign, not a genuine alliance. The direction of the feet. Body language experts often say to watch the feet. While the face can lie, the feet often point toward a person's true interest or desired escape route. If someone is facing you, showering you with attention, but their feet are angled towards the door, their subconscious mind is already halfway out of the conversation. They are putting on a show, but they want to leave. By learning to spot this incongruence, you are no longer fooled by the performance. You see both channels simultaneously, the broadcasted lie and the leaking truth. You are not judging them. You are simply gathering data. You are seeing the full picture, and this leads to the most profound part of the entire dynamic. Point 3 is the mirror effect, the moment they know you know. This is the core of our exploration. This is the phenomenon that elevates the quiet observer from a mere spectator to a powerful force in any social dynamic. When you see someone's true face, their shadow, their envy, their insecurity, their manipulative intent, and you do not react in the way they expect, a terrifying thing happens to them. Your quiet, steady gaze becomes a mirror. A manipulator, a narcissist, a fake friend, their entire operating system is based on getting predictable reactions from you. They compliment you to get a flush of gratitude. They subtly insult you to get a flash of insecurity. They play the victim to get a surge of sympathy. They create drama to get an emotional response. This is their food. This is how they confirm their control and validate their distorted reality. The quiet observer denies them this food. When you see the incongruence, when you spot the lie behind their eyes, you do not gasp, You do not confront them. You do not get angry. You do not recoil in fear. You simply see. You hold their gaze a second longer than is comfortable. Your expression doesn't turn to anger, but to a state of calm, neutral knowing. Your inner state, that placid lake we spoke of, remains undisturbed. In that moment, you have reflected their own shadow back at them, and they are terrified of their own shadow. Imagine a man named Marcus, a charismatic but deeply insecure senior manager. His primary tool of control is a mix of charm and subtle intimidation. He'll throw a compliment at a junior employee that has a slight barb in it just to watch them squirm. For example, "Great presentation, James, almost as good as the one Sarah gave last month." He expects James to feel a mix of pride and anxiety, a state that makes him easy to control. But one day he tries this on you, the quiet observer. He says, "Excellent report, you're really catching on." The hidden subtext is, "You were clueless before, and I am the one bestowing this approval upon you." He expects you to beam with gratitude, to say, "Oh, thank you so much, Marcus." But you don't. You look at him, your inner state perfectly calm. You hold his gaze, and with no malice, just simple, direct acknowledgement, you say, "Thank you." And you hold his gaze for another beat. What happens to Marcus is a complete system failure. You didn't give him the emotional reaction he needed. Your calm, knowing neutrality creates a vacuum. Into that vacuum rushes all of his own insecurity. His mind races. Did they see what I did there? Do they know I'm playing a game? They're not intimidated. They're not fawning. They see me. They see the real me. He is no longer looking at you. He is looking into a mirror that shows him his own pettiness, his own manipulative tactics. This is why they know you know. Your non-reaction is the most powerful reaction of all. It communicates, "Your games do not work on me. I exist outside of the drama you are trying to create. I see the puppet master, not the puppet." From that moment on, the dynamic between you and them is forever changed. They will begin to act differently around you. You will notice one of two responses: increased agitation and escalation. Some will panic. They will try harder. Their compliments will become more lavish, their manipulations more obvious. They are desperately trying to get a reaction from you, to pull you back into the game where they make the rules. They might even try to smear you to others, painting you as cold, arrogant, or weird. This is because your calm presence is a constant, maddening reminder of their own inauthenticity. Avoidance and fearful respect. The more intelligent ones will recognize you as a different kind of player, one whose rules they don't understand. They will begin to avoid you. They will stop trying to engage you in their games. They will speak to you carefully, respectfully, because they see you as someone who cannot be manipulated. They will not like you, but they will respect you out of a primal fear of being exposed. Your quiet power has drawn a boundary that they are now too afraid to cross. The key is that you achieved this without a single confrontation, without a single accusation. You simply saw the truth and refused to participate in the lie. You held up the mirror and they broke themselves against their own reflection. Actionable steps to master the mirror effect. Practice neutral observation. When you detect incongruence, your only job is to observe it. Label it in your mind. Ah, incongruence. The words are positive, the energy is negative. That's it. Do not attach a story or an emotion to it yet, just note it. Master the neutral response. When a manipulator throws a baited hook, give them a calm, neutral, and brief response. "I see. Thank you. I'll consider that. Okay." Do not elaborate, do not justify, do not defend. Your brevity is a wall they cannot climb. Hold your gaze. Don't engage in a staring contest, but don't be the first to look away when you are delivering your neutral response. Let your steady gaze communicate what your words do not. "I am not afraid. I see what is happening here." It is a profoundly unsettling experience for someone who relies on others being intimidated. This power is not for attack, it is a shield, and understanding how to use that shield is the next critical step. Point 4. The strategic response, wielding your perception as a shield. Seeing the truth is one thing, knowing what to do with it is another. The quiet observer's power is not a weapon for vengeance or exposure. Wielding it as such would drag you down into the very drama you've sought to rise above. Instead, your perception is a shield. It's a guidance system for self-protection and energy preservation. Your goal is not to destroy the hidden enemy, but to make yourself an impossible target. It is not to fix the toxic person, but to render their toxicity completely ineffective on you. This is the art of strategic disengagement. It's a quiet, graceful, and utterly final closing of doors. Let's return to the story of Claire and her frenemy, Ben. After Claire recognized the pattern of incongruence, the envious glances, the praise that masked inaction, she knew a confrontation would be useless. Ben would deny everything, paint her as paranoid, and use his carefully crafted reputation as the supportive guide to turn others against her. A loud battle would be a battle on his terms, in his arena of drama and manipulation. So Claire chose the path of the quiet observer. She didn't unfriend him or stop speaking to him. That would be too obvious, too dramatic. Instead, she turned herself into an informational and energetic black hole for him. When Ben would come over to her desk fishing for information about her projects or her personal life, Claire became pleasant but vague. Ben, hey, how's that big client pitch coming along? You must be stressed. Old Claire, oh, it's so stressful. I'm worried about the financials section and I'm not sure they'll like the new branding. Observer Claire, it's moving along, all good. She'd smile, then turn back to her screen, a polite but firm signal that the conversation was over. She stopped sharing her vulnerabilities with him. She stopped sharing her victories with him. When he praised her, instead of a gushing, validating, "Thank you so much, that means a lot," she would give him a simple, calm, "Thanks, Ben." She was polite, professional, but she had quietly withdrawn the currency he traded in, her emotional reactions and her personal information. The effect was profound. Ben's primary source of narcissistic supply from her was gone. He could no longer feel superior by secretly enjoying her stress. He could no longer take credit for her ideas. He couldn't gauge his own standing by measuring her anxieties. Claire had become a smooth, polished stone. There was nothing for him to grip onto. Within a few weeks, Ben's behavior shifted. He stopped visiting her desk as often. His attempts to engage her became half-hearted. He was like a vampire who had found a victim with no blood. Eventually, he directed his toxic energy elsewhere, towards someone else who would give him the reactions he craved. Claire never had to say a word of accusation. She simply protected her energy by making her inner world inaccessible to him. She had won not by fighting, but by making the fight impossible to start. This is the ultimate form of self-protection. It is recognizing that your energy, your focus, your emotional vulnerability, and your private thoughts are your most precious resources. You do not give them away to those who have proven themselves unworthy. Your strategic responses should be guided by these principles. Information control, the gray rock method. As with Claire, become boring, be a gray rock. When a toxic person or hidden enemy tries to pry, give them short, uninteresting answers. don't offer up personal stories, fears, or even triumphs. They are gathering data to use against you or to feed their own ego. Give them nothing. Your life to them should become a closed book. Strategic disengagement. You don't need a dramatic goodbye. You simply stop initiating contact. You let text messages go a little longer before replying. You become busy when they suggest getting together. You slowly and quietly fade from their inner circle. This slow fade prevents the dramatic blowback of a sudden cutoff and allows you to exit their orbit with minimal turbulence. Redirection. When they try to pull you into gossip or negativity about others, a common tactic to create false bonds, refuse to engage. Redirect the conversation. If they say, "Can you believe what Sarah did?" you respond with a neutral, topic-changing question. Speaking of projects, have you seen the latest memo on the Q3 reports? You are communicating that you do not operate on that frequency. They will quickly learn not to bring their toxicity to you. Observe their reaction to your boundaries. The ultimate test of a person's character is how they react when you set a boundary. A healthy person respects it. A toxic person, a manipulator, a frenemy will see it as a challenge. They will push, question, and try to guilt you for having it. Their negative reaction to your self-protection is the final, undeniable piece of evidence you need. It confirms your initial observation was correct. By wielding your perception as a shield, you are not living in fear. You are living in wisdom. You are the curator of your own life, the gatekeeper of your own energy. You understand that the most powerful move is often no move at all. It is the quiet, deliberate act of removing yourself from the board. Point 5. The path of individuation, from observer to architect. The final stage of this journey is the most empowering. So far, we have focused on the quiet observer's power as a defensive tool, a shield to spot toxicity, a mirror to deflect manipulation, a method for self-protection. But its ultimate purpose is not defensive, it is creative. Once you have cleared your life of the static, the noise, and the energy vampires, you are left with a profound clarity. This clarity is the foundation upon which you will build an authentic life. This is where you transform from a passive observer into a conscious architect. This is the essence of Jung's concept of individuation. It's the process of reclaiming the disowned parts of yourself, your shadow, and integrating them to become a whole, self-aware individual. By learning to see the shadow in others, you have inevitably learned to see it in yourself. By mastering your reactions to their manipulations, you have mastered your own emotional triggers. You are no longer a person who is stuck in a rut or tired of trying, because you now see the invisible forces that were holding you there. You have broken the cycle. Think of it as cleaning a house that has been cluttered for years. The initial work of identifying and removing the trash, the toxic relationships, the fake friends is exhausting. But once it's done, you are not just left with a clean house. You are left with space. Open, quiet, beautiful space. For the first time, you can see the true architecture of the place. You can see the light coming through the windows. You can decide where you want to put the furniture. You are no longer just surviving in the clutter. You are designing your environment. This is what happens in your life. With your newfound perceptual skills, you start to use them for more than just spotting danger. You start to spot authenticity. Imagine you're meeting new people. Before, you might have been swayed by loud charisma or impressive stories. Now you observe with your quiet confidence. You notice the person who isn't the life of the party, but who listens with genuine intensity when someone else is speaking. You see their eyes light up with real empathy. You notice the person whose words of encouragement are followed by a concrete act of help, no matter how small. You see the person who is comfortable with silence, who doesn't need to fill every second with noise. You are spotting the subtle signs of integrity, kindness, and genuine character with the same acuity you once used to spot deceit. Your perception has become a dowsing rod not just for poison, but for water. You are drawn to people who are also doing their own work, people who have a quiet confidence of their own. Your energy, now protected and whole, acts as a beacon, attracting other whole and healthy energies. The manipulators and users are no longer even drawn to you. Your calm sovereignty is a frequency they can't stand. This is the great waking up. You realize that self-sabotage was often just an unconscious repetition of old patterns, allowing the same kinds of toxic people into your life over and over. By learning to see them for what they are, you have broken that spell. You are no longer fated to repeat the same painful relationships. You are the architect. You choose the materials. You choose the company. Your life stops being a series of reactions to other people's dramas and becomes a series of conscious choices based on your own clear-eyed perception. This is the ultimate power. It's not just seeing their true face. It's finally, fully seeing your own path. Here is how you walk that path, from observer to architect. Turn observation into affirmation. When you spot a genuine person, make a conscious mental note. I see their kindness. I see their integrity. This trains your brain to actively look for the good, creating a positive feedback loop that counters the hypervigilance of only looking for threats. Invest energy with intention. Your energy is now a precious resource. Invest it like a wise venture capitalist. Invest it in people who provide a return of respect, reciprocity, and growth. If a relationship drains you more than it fills you, begin the process of strategic disengagement, no matter how long you've known them. Trust your calibrated intuition. Your gut feeling is no longer a wild guess clouded by anxiety. It is a highly calibrated instrument honed by practice. When it tells you yes about a person or an opportunity, lean in. When it whispers no, listen without hesitation. Do not let your logical mind talk you out of that deep, quiet knowing. Embrace solitude as a design phase. Do not be afraid of the space created by letting go of toxic people. This solitude is not loneliness, it is the architect's studio. Use this time to reconnect with your own passions, your own goals. This is when you journal, plan, and build the foundation for the next chapter of your life, a chapter that you and only you will write. You started this journey seeking to understand the power of seeing others. You will end it by understanding the ultimate power is in finally being able to see yourself and the incredible future you have the strength and clarity to build. Conclusion. We began with the chilling, powerful image of the quiet observer, the one whose stillness unnerves the performer, whose gaze penetrates the mask. We have journeyed through the necessary, brutal work of forging your own inner silence, learning to see it as the foundation of all true perception. We decoded the language beyond words, the jarring incongruence between the broadcasted lie and the leaking truth. We unveiled the profound psychological power of the mirror effect, understanding that your calm non-reaction is what forces the manipulator to confront their own shadow, making them realize with a dawning horror that you see them. We then transformed this perception into a shield, learning the art of strategic disengagement, not to fight but to make yourself an impossible target, preserving your most precious resource, your energy. And finally, we brought it all home. We saw that this path is not one of paranoia and defense, but the ultimate path to self-creation. The path of the architect who uses this newfound clarity to design a life of authenticity, purpose, and genuine connection. The power of the quiet observer is not about being cold, distant, or judgmental. It is about being sovereign. It is the deep, unshakable peace that comes from knowing you can trust your own perception. It is the freedom of no longer being a pawn in other people's games. It is the quiet confidence of moving through the world able to distinguish the predators from the protectors, the fakes from the faithful. The next time you are in a room and you feel that old, familiar pull of someone's drama, the temptation to react, to defend, to explain, stop. Breathe, settle into that deep, placid lake within you. Watch, listen to what is not being said, see the flicker in their eyes, feel the shift in the energy. And when you see their true face, do not flinch. Simply hold your peace, hold your ground. In that silent, knowing moment, you will feel it. The subtle, seismic shift in power. They know you see them. And from that moment on, nothing will ever be the same. You are no longer just living. You are observing, you are learning, you are becoming the architect of your own reality. Go forward and build it well.